If you're a family that's always on the move, picking your child's first school, wow, that's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. The curriculum you choose today can literally shape their confidence, how they adapt, and their whole attitude towards learning. So in this explainer, we're going to decode the two major players for globally mobile Indian families, CBSE and IB. First things first, let's just bust a myth that so many of us have heard. This idea that real learning only starts later, it's not just wrong, it's actually damaging. All the science, all the data, all the stories from families who've moved countries, they all tell a completely different story. And just think about the incredible scale of what's happening in these early years. We are not talking about just playing or babysitting here. This is brain architecture being built brick by brick. A mind-blowing 90% of your child's brain development is done. It's locked in before they even finish first grade. These years are everything. To really see why this matters so much, let's look at a real-life story. We'll call it the Dubai shock, and it's a perfect cautionary tale about what happens when the expectations in these early years just don't line up. So, picture this. A family moves from Hyderabad to Dubai with their 4-year-old. Back home, her preschool was very structured, right? Tracing letters, counting to 50, singing rhymes. But then, boom, they land in Dubai, and the new school is expecting creative storytelling, public speaking like show and tell, and independent problem solving. The gap between the two was just massive. And the result of that gap? The little girl froze. She just stopped talking in class, completely shut down. And listen, the issue wasn't her intelligence or her ability, it was the curriculum gap. This is exactly why the choice we make in these early years is so incredibly critical. All right, so let's dig into our first major option, the CBSE foundational stage. I want you to think of this system as building strong, deep roots. It's all about creating this incredibly solid academic foundation that a child can then build on for the rest of their life. So, what's the big win for CBSE on the global stage? Well, it's all about that structure. Children come out with a really strong base in reading, spelling, and math. They learn discipline, they learn how to follow instructions, and how to really focus. And these are skills that transfer beautifully to other highly structured school systems, say in places like Singapore or Japan. Okay, but here's the flip side. There's way less emphasis on inquiry, on asking why, and there's not a lot of practice building confidence in spoken English through things like show and tell. And that can become a huge disadvantage if your family ends up moving to a more expressive, discussion-heavy classroom in the UK, Canada, or the US. So we've talked about roots. Now let's talk about our second option, which is all about growing wings, and that's the International Baccalaureate, or IB. Specifically, we're talking about the Primary Years Program, the PYP. It's designed from the ground up to create kids who are adaptable, who can communicate, and who are ready for a world without borders. Now, what's amazing here is that the strengths of IB are pretty much a mirror image of the challenges in CBSE. The IB system is all about developing kids who ask great questions. It builds their confidence to speak up right from day one, and it really nurtures that social and emotional independence, which is just crucial for a smooth move. Plus, this portfolio culture, where they're always documenting the child's work, makes transferring between international schools so much easier. All right, but it's not all perfect, right? What are the challenges? Well, an IB kid might have weaker handwriting at first, or less practice with those formal math drills. And this is a big one. If your plan is to eventually move back into a very structured system like CBSE, your child could face some real adjustment stress. The whole approach is just fundamentally different. And yeah, let's be honest, it usually costs more. So let's just break it all down, side by side. You got CBSE's structured teacher-led style versus IB's inquiry-based child-led approach. CBSE is laser-focused on that academic foundation. IB is all about communication and adaptability. So one's really ideal if you're staying put in India or moving around Asia, while the other is built for high international mobility. It really is that classic choice, solid roots versus powerful wings. So, how on earth do you choose? Well, it's not about which system is better. It's about which one is better for your family right now. So let's switch gears from just information to action with a simple checklist to help you make the right call. I want you to really think about these 6 questions. First, what's your timeline? Are you actually going to move in the next 5 years? Second, right now, what's more important to you, raw academic strength or that global adaptability? Third, think about your kid's personality. Do they love structure or do they thrive on freedom? And then think about future languages.
whether you want to stick with one curriculum long-term, and, this is a big one, are you willing to supplement their learning to get the best of both worlds? Your answers are going to light the way.
So what's the big takeaway here? Well, the ideal situation isn't really about choosing one or the other. The real goal, the real magic, is to consciously find a way to give your child a blend of both. It's about building those strong roots and growing those powerful wings. This is the balance we're all aiming for, right? From the CBSE world, you give them the incredible gift of structure, discipline, and that rock-solid academic foundation. And from the IB world, you give them adaptability, a curious mind that asks why, and the confidence to communicate with anyone, anywhere. A child who has both of these is truly ready for whatever the future holds.
So we're going to leave you with this one question to think about. Just take a moment and look at your child's education right now and the path you're planning for them. Do they have the right combination of deep, strong roots and powerful, confident wings to not just survive, but to absolutely thrive, no matter where your family's journey takes you next?